Platform designed by collectors for collectors just got even better. MySlabs.com is proud to now feature dedicated sections for both raw cards and raw comic books. Browse over 100,000 slab collectibles, authenticated by the industry's most trusted grading companies. Then check out a massive selection of sealed wax and now raw singles and raw lots. Join a passionate, no-nonsense community of nearly 50,000 members and enjoy some of the best buyer and seller protection in the business. And as always, MySlabs offers one of the most disruptive pricing models in the hobby, with seller fees as low as only 1%. So the next time you're forced to pay 10%, 20%, or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com, the low-fee marketplace, by collectors, for collectors.
Woo! What's up, guys? You know what night it is. Wednesday night, Off-Centered with Dustin, the artist formerly known as the Personal Finance Dad. Some of them still know him as the Personal Grazing Cow because of that one episode where he was snacking on peanuts or whatever during the stream, and some people never let him live it down. But now he's known as the Sports Card Dad. And tonight's going to be action-packed because we have a ton of news. We have companies starting vaults. We have Mint Collective. We have Ken Golden doing breaks with Drake and what that means for the hobby. We have WWE signing a new deal with Fanatics, even though they haven't had a product out with Panini yet. So huge week in sports, and we have our sports cards, and we have one of the most respected content creators and collectors out there, Jermey Lee of Sports Cards Live. He's going to be joining us and talking about his experience at Mint, as well as the company he's now a part of that he's very excited to start and to share with us. So it's going to be a packed hour, maybe an hour 15 or hour 20. So I hope you're ready, and y'all already know the drill. Welcome back. Now let's get to work. Let's bring on the guest with the orange hoodie, Dustin.
What's up, man?
Formerly known as the Sports Car. Damn it, I messed it up. Sports Card Dad. What's up, man?
I'm actually pretty upset. So I thought I was buying 3 red Spider-Man PMGs, and they sent me Bart Starr instead. So
Are you serious?
No, I just got Bart Starr PMGs.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's not even close. Like Spider-Man and Bart Starr. I'm like,
I mean, my eyesight's a little bit, it's going. I'm almost 41, so I thought it looked like kind of a webbed thing, but actually it's football. Anyway,
it's a weird look. The black and white picture with a red PMG. I think it's a bit strange of a look, but
you're not really a PMG fan in general.
No, I'm not.
Well, and I'm not either. Those are the only I only have football PMGs because they're affordable. Okay,
well, I will say this. I'm a big fan of cards. If they're PSA, I'm a big fan of red cards with the red label of PSA, because it really bothers me to see a blue or teal or different colored card clash with the red label. So red PMG with a PSA slab looks good, especially if it's a Buccaneer card, like a Tampa Bay Buccaneer card. But then again, back in the 90s, it's probably the orange. So anyway,
I'm wearing my creamsicle hoodie because of the announcement of Bruce Arians leaving the sidelines.
I have no idea what is this. I'm seeing here. Look, Jared here. Buccaneers will be getting a new head coach. Honestly, look,
I think it's kind of hilarious though that Arians waited like 2 weeks before the draft. He's like, yeah, you know what, I'm out.
I mean, yeah, to me, I don't understand it, because it's like all you want is to get Tom Brady back. So there must have been a rift between Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, like you mentioned, because why would you have Tom Brady back in all of this and then not coach unless it's health reasons? You think
it probably is health reasons, but then also he's going to the front office where he would, from my understanding, the front office people. So if he's like a general manager, assistant or whatever, he'll still get a ring.
So how do I apply for that?
He gets a ring and he doesn't have to be there on the sidelines stressing every Sunday, blah, blah, blah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was health related, because isn't he like the oldest coach in the league?
Well, he's had heart issues. He left when he was with the Cardinals. He kind of semi-retired for a couple of years because he had heart issues. Yeah, Todd Bowles, that's actually over the years, Sports Bowles is a new head coach. I mean, Todd Bowles has been a head coach. He's a great coach. So, I mean.
What if his middle name was Super? Todd Super Bowles? I mean, just okay.
You're cracking dad jokes. You don't even have kids.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the bachelor. You're the dad. You should be cutting those jokes. All right. AJ Rose from Japan. Great to see you. Steven Ryan in the house. Josh Pack I thought I said Pac-Man. Pac-em. I hope it will be fun. We will see. Ryan McClanahan, great to see you as always. I will probably have to pee around the 28-minute mark. That is my guess. Troy's Collectibles, always here. P-Man has been able to hold it. I wagered $20. He makes it past 35 minutes. You know what? Just to spite you, I'm going to go at 34 minutes. Start the clock. Brian Sherlin's in the house. Beer and pizza. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Loop for this really cool thing I got at the Mint Collective. It's like a, holds a beer, or I could just beat people with it if I feel threatened.
I didn't see that. Yeah, that's fancy. Although I wouldn't have been able to bring that on my plane without the carry-on. I had the one personal item, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you flew what, Spirit or Frontier or something?
Yeah, Frontier. My wife was like, so it's going to be $100 round trip for you to take a carry-on bag. I'm like, nope, won't do it. So we literally had it in like a sock, had like 3 shirts, a pair of underwear, and we rode out.
I do the same thing.
That's what we do.
You wear layers. You're just like, well, this is my outfit today. That's my outfit tomorrow. You just wear all 3 layers, 3 pairs of underwear overlapping.
Yeah, because it was cold. It was cold coming out of Raleigh, so I wore a sweater, like a hoodie. Not this one. I wore another hoodie in the airport because freezing on the plane, and then it's 93 in Vegas. So on Sunday, I literally wore the hoodie all around. Like we were walking up and down the strip, and I was wearing the hoodie. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Vegas was fun, man. I'm glad you made it. I take credit for luring you to Vegas because I know you were on the fence earlier. Josh, I'm sorry, man. You're going to have to look somewhere else. All we're going to be talking about is sports cards with a financial twist, as Dustin's banner says on his station. Buy gold. Brian is always about gold. All right, we're going to bring on our guest, Jermey, in just a second. Good to see you, Troy. I think I said that already. JJ Bama in the house. South Stands 303, Philly Joe. We got so much to talk about. I'd love to say hi to every single one of you. Michael Stone, Brendan Ryan again, Contender Sports Cards on Instagram. That's a good point. And maybe there's one of us that will be starting a vault as well. You'll have to stay tuned.
Yeah, we don't want to give anything away, but we've got a big announcement. We'll talk about it later.
Well, yeah. Just that'll be our teaser. Let's bring on our guest, Sports Cards Live, Jermey Lee. How you doing, Jermey?
I'm good, fellas. It's good to see you. Nice to see you on the screen. A couple days after hanging with y'all in person.
That's right. Yeah, second time I think we've seen in person or met in person after, what was it, the National or Dallas?
Yeah, National.
It was National. Yeah.
Now that you're back in town, how are you feeling after what was one of the wildest weekends in sports card history?
Which isn't saying much, but go ahead.
I mean, the Mint Collective was, I think going in, nobody really knew what to expect from it. And, kind of some of the narrative going in, I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a card show with some panel discussions. And, there was definitely the card show. There was what they called the marketplace, and it was a nice marketplace. This thing was the most, I would say, professionally run card show, or not card show, but hobby event that I've ever been to or seen. And, it was a great mix of activity. You had the marketplace. There were some great vendors selling some great cards. You had all the corporate setup and new companies presenting to the hobby for the first time, introducing themselves. I thought that was really cool. And then it's really nice being in Vegas at the MGM. You wake up in your hotel room, you take a shower, you go down to the, you don't have to walk very far to get to the show, to the conference center, and take in all the information that was there to be taken in. Someone said to me that they thought that 95 of the top 100 people in the hobby, whatever that means, were going to be there, like, the people from the companies and et cetera. So if that's true, and the person who said that to me is a pretty, person who's entrenched in the hobby, if that's true, then I think, it's kind of like a meeting of the minds sort of event where things are happening. There was a lot of talk about investors being there. I don't mean card investors, but people looking to invest in companies, people looking to introduce their new products and services to the hobby. And it was fun because afterwards, if you're just kind of, maybe you're by yourself and you're walking through the MGM, you go by a lounge, you look in, you see people sitting down around a table, you can just go join them. And that was happening. There were a lot of these impromptu get-togethers and discussions. So overall, really a phenomenal experience. And Collectible and IMG and Omaha, Peyton Manning's company, did a really great job of putting the whole thing together. So I know it's going to happen again next year, and I'll definitely be there. To me, it's a can't miss event now.
Were you surprised at how many new companies that you saw there? Because I felt like I had like a fairly decent grasp on, even a lot of the up and coming companies, and there was a bunch there, and also just people that would walk up and say, "Hey, I'm not live yet. I've got a website that's starting in 30 days, and here's what I do." And I mean, there was all sorts of stuff like that, which it kind of shocked me a little bit because I thought I had kind of a grasp as to the new hobby companies, and I didn't. There was a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that there, and I heard a lot of people saying those same sorts of things, Dustin. Like, there's a lot of activity going on that we just don't know about, and this is a place where companies, I think, are now, this year they did, and I think in the years coming, they're going to kind of target the Mint Collective as a launching pad for their new companies and services and products. So yeah, there were several companies that I'd never heard of that were there. There were a couple that were there that actually were already been acquired, and we can talk about that a little bit too. Beckett had some big announcements. Beckett had a VIP party thing on Thursday night that I was lucky had an invite to. Went to the event, and they made like 4 different announcements that were all really interesting things. So that's the kind of thing. Now, that wasn't tied into the collectible event. That's just where Beckett decided to have it. They had it at the Mandalay Bay, which was kind of a $15 Uber ride away from the MGM. And but yeah, there were lots of companies there, Dustin, that I'd never heard of before, and great people there set up at all these booths willing to talk about what they're doing. So definitely think it's a platform for that.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off of that, like you said, you don't exactly know what's going on in every sector of the hobby because you have this company working on something. You have Instagram crowd, you have YouTube crowd, you have podcasts, you have all these different areas. And I felt like the clearest picture of where the hobby is going in the next 6 months to 2 years was represented at Mint. And I went to Industry Summit. So if you guys saw my video earlier this week, I went to Industry Summit, which was a much more old school, old fashioned version of this, where it's more just like we all get shoved, not shoved, but like we're all in that giant hotel conference room, but it wasn't a display. There weren't all these crazy displays and vendors. And I mean, to me, it seemed like it was at least 50% investors in companies or representatives or something like that. It wasn't a great show if you're just coming to check out a bunch of cards and to buy and sell, but it's a great show if you want to see what's on the cusp for the hobby. And if you're interested in learning about new companies, getting involved, partnerships. So, I mean, from that standpoint, I thought it was great. What was your biggest takeaway from Mint, especially as a collector of 30 years or so, decades and decades? Since we've never seen this before, as a long-term collector, what is your number one thing that you took away, whether it's regarding this event or the hobby as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's that we as a hobby seem to think that the last 2 years were and shout out to Jim Goodfellas there. Thank you, Joe. I think it's that, over the last couple of years, we've seen the hobby explode like nothing we've seen before. And maybe some people think that the explosion is sort of tempering now, but I think it's the opposite. And I'm not talking about values of cards. I'm talking about the infrastructure, the infrastructure, the hobby, the various levels of services that are coming in, the innovation of entrepreneurs in our space who are, again, rolling out new services and products, the existing companies that are rebranding or changing their grading services, or those sorts of things. There's just so much happening. And I heard people say, who are people that are much more connected than I am, that like literally there is so much going on behind the scenes. Someone said that 6 months from now, the hobby is going to be totally different than it is today. And there are deals being worked on and brokered behind closed doors that we don't know, but we can't conceive. Just like how Fanatics with the licenses back in August came out of nowhere. Just like Fanatics buying Tops came out of nowhere, right? There is more of that to come, is what I have been led to understand. So I think we're in for another big year here.
Can we back up a little bit, Jeremy? Going back to that Beckett event, I saw, on their booth, the Beckett Vault. That's the one thing I caught. I also heard about maybe added security features on the slab. Can you just kind of expound on that a little bit? Because I didn't get a chance to talk to any of their reps. But can you maybe just, talk a little bit more about what they're coming out with?
Yeah. So the announcements at the Beckett private event were as follows. First of all, they've made 2 acquisitions. One acquisition is a company called Nox, Noxx, and Nox is a collector platform, I believe, and it's basically going to become the new Beckett website. The Beckett's website is going to be gone in 3 months. It's going to be completely redesigned, completely overhauled. I think everybody's happy to hear that. The other thing that Nox does, and this is tied into to the vault. They announced the vault. So what you're going to be able to do is similar to the other vaults. You're going to be able to send your cards into Beckett, have them graded, put them in their vault, and then you can like transact with those cards. And the way that's going to happen is now this might scare some people, but there's going to be NFTs. And what's going to happen is they're going to create an NFT that is going to be, it's actually going to be a QR code. It's going to be a QR code that will take you to an image of your card. But the NFT is now going to be like a title or a deed for your card. So I can now sell you my NFT of my card, and along with you buying that, now you own the card as well. So basically, you're going to transfer ownership of cards in their vault without having to involve them in it. You're going to be able to do that on OpenSea and some other marketplaces. I don't remember where else they said. So you're going to be able to use crypto. And I think you're also going to be able to use cash to do it as well. So kind of opening up the scope there for them. They've also acquired a company called DoDilly, and I'd never heard of DoDilly, but DoDilly just got acquired by Beckett, and DoDilly is a pre-grading company service. You actually take a picture of your card with your phone, front and back, send it to them, and the terminology they used was like a heat map, Doppler radar kind of imaging of your card, and they pre-grade it for you. So they're getting into the pre-grade business as well. They're rebranding. They're rebranding completely. They have a new. This is actually a shirt that gave me that night.
I've got one of those too.
That looks futuristic. That actually looks like Beckett's really cool.
Well, I think this isn't it. This is just the T-shirt. But if you look at this right here, the blue, the word Beckett there, that's their new brand. So right over here in the B, that's a little star there that's got half blue out, half in. So their new logo is the B with a star in this color blue. And so they're completely they're rebranded. The other thing that happened was that they have a new interim CEO, Justin Moreland, I think is his name, something like that. It's Justin for sure. And
did you say that? Can you repeat that one more time, Jeremy? Because it froze on my end. I don't know if it froze on anyone else's end.
No,
I guess
I heard
it's my end.
Yeah, his name's Justin. I think it's Moreland. I gotta check. But anyway, he's the new interim CEO of Beckett. So Jeremy Murray, who's the president, reports into Justin now. And Justin presented at this VIP party. It was a small party. There were like 40 or 50 people. It was closed. He could speak to everybody. And this guy is very impressive. Like, I was very impressed by him, the way he presented, just his demeanor, a very nice person overall. I went and talked with him after, very welcoming, just a great guy. So really impressed with what Beckett rolled out, what they're doing. And obviously it's going to be, time will tell. They have to now deliver on what they announced, but they don't seem to be messing around. The other message that came across was that they're aware of how sort of stagnant the brand has gotten and how they haven't been talking to the public very much. And it's like they were doing something. They've been working on things. So that was kind of a good story coming together, because let's face it, the Beckett brand is a very important hobby brand. It's been around for a long time. A lot of people were, that's their memory of getting into the hobby was Beckett. So they're taking it very seriously. And now we'll see if they deliver and live up to all of our expectations.
What do you think about this horse race? Because what's interesting is you had Beckett, who was kind of lagging. Everyone's like, oh, we haven't heard from Beckett. We never hear anything from Beckett. And then they've kind of come out with some news and looking like that they're kind of, they're doing some good things. If you look, all 4 grading companies have good things going on. They were talking about the big 4, the top 4, let's say, with PSA, BGS, SGC, and CSG. They all have good stuff going. How do you see that, for collectors / flippers / investors? I of course, the easy answer is competition's good. and it's probably going to help the end consumer. But any other thoughts, outside of that, just being that you've got kind of powerhouses going against each other?
Well, I mean, PSA obviously is the leader with 80% of the marketplace. We know that from the great work that Ryan at Jermey does. Beckett, I think, is going to claim back some of their market share just based on what we saw. They seem to be very serious about what they're doing, and they have no lack of capital behind them. They are going to be able to challenge PSA. SGC was there. Peter Steinberg spoke on the grading panel, which I sat in on the last half of. He's an impressive speaker, definitely. And then CSG just relaunched their label, right? They've totally gotten rid of that green prescription bottle sort of looking label and come out with this new one, which has some yellow and black and gold or whatever it is. And so, kudos to them for changing. It seemed like nobody really liked that old label. So I think it's good that they're making a move. And now it's going to be up to people's personal preference if you like it or not. But then there were other grading companies that were there that kind of launched there. There's one called AGS, I think it's called, Automated Grading Service, something like that. And then there's also Rare Edition.
Rare Edition. Yeah, I really like their slab. I talked about it in my video. I don't know. Did you hold it?
Yeah. It's heavy. It's substantial.
Seriously. Yeah, it makes the Beckett, and the Beckett slab's great. BGS is big slab, but that thing was cool like that.
It is. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the CSG new slab. And of course, there's something with Chrome where I can't share my screen because my Mac is like making it so that I can't do anything on here. But I don't know the answer to do that. But yeah, check out CSG's Instagram for their new slab, because I think Neo had a poll where about 500 people or so, maybe more than that, responded. And the consensus was slightly better to better, which I think it is better, but it's not amazing. But it's way better than that green medicine bottle, from grandma's cupboard in the bathroom. So good work there. Yeah, there it is. There's exactly, Brendan. The other thing was the Beckett Vault, right? The Beckett Vault was big news. And then we were hearing, okay, hold on a second, but eBay's having a vault. And then now news broke today, PSA is having a vault. So what are your thoughts in terms of all these vault announcements so quickly? And what does that actually mean for collectors? Do you have an opinion there, Jermey?
I mean, nothing earth-shattering here, Brad. I guess it's more options for people. And listen, I mean, vaulting services are important now because cards are worth so much more. Some cards are worth so much more than they ever have been. So storing them in your private residence or maybe riskier. So I think obviously PWCC was kind of first to market with a vault. Golden followed in second place, it seems like. Then you heard about eBay's. Now we hear about PSA's. It seems to be the natural evolution for these companies. I think they're all going to have business. They're all going to be able to fill these vaults. There's enough cards out there to fill them all, I got to think. So I don't really have much of an opinion on it. At the end of the day, if it's too much capacity for the hobby, then the cream will rise to the top, and that'll be that. We'll see whose vault has to close first.
Well, Brad and I actually feel bad for these other companies that have decided to get into the vault space. Brad, why don't you show them why?
Well, let me see if I can for one. And it doesn't, I don't know if I'll be able to based on.
You just did it.
Let me see if this will work. But we're starting our own vault. And if this doesn't work, you're going to have to log on to Dustin's Instagram tomorrow to find out what it looks like. But I guarantee you this, it will be the lowest price. We will beat any competitor by at least 20% off their price because we're able to cut a couple of overhead costs, right? So this is the OC vault. Can you see this clearly?
It's not coming through yet.
Oh, darn.
It looked like it was trying, but did you pay the internet bill?
I paid the internet bill. I just didn't pay man, I'm looking at it right here. It
looks like it's supposed to be there, but it's not.
I'm going to have to try one more time. I'm going to try during that conversation. This will be a really nice surprise. But
at some point, we'll just unveil it.
Just let the hype build. Let the anticipation build, because this will be the vault you'll want to do business with.
Sure.
I feel bad for all of these guys that decided to pump millions and millions into, fully secure 30,000 square foot vaults, but you know what? That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, some of them know what they're doing, and maybe they're hearing from people who say, hey, thanks for taking my cards in, like, to PSA. Now, can I just leave them there? You've had them so long already. I don't even want them back anymore. I want to leave them there and put them on a marketplace. But vaulting is one thing. Tying it to a marketplace kind of gets you to the next level, right? So it kind of makes sense because Collectors owns PSA, they own Golden. Golden has a vault. Collectors has a vault. Are they two separate vaults, or is this going to be the same vault? I don't know. Or are they going to open up their own vault just for more capacity in another location and then tie it in to Golden's marketplace?
There it is.
There it is. Okay, guys, let me see if I can make this a bit bigger. How does that work?
That looks great.
Perfect.
Isn't that is it right there? This is the OC vault, off-centered vault. This is Matilda, our security guard. And you see here that we share the vault with a couple of farm animals. They're very friendly to the cards. We already have
completely off the grid. So no one's hacking into this thing.
No one's hacking in. We do have to worry about fires, termites, bears. But besides all that, it's completely secure. There's not a door exactly, but we don't anticipate anyone actually wanting to go in there.
Think Blair Witch Project, that sort of setup. It's going to be glorious, and we're going to put all these other companies out of business. I'm just putting it. Look, it's not arrogance; it's confidence.
And look, what other company can assure your cards of having such a soothing, beautiful landscape to look at throughout the day? Like everything else is like going to be secure in a safe where they won't be able to see nature or connect with animals. But this is the only one. This is offering your cards an experience like no other.
We're going green. We're going green here. This is no low pollution. All these other vaults. What are they doing to the planet?
Eco-friendly.
It's a very lovely couple that lives on the acreage there too.
Yeah, that looks a bit more than a bromance. So I was a bit worried about that. Yeah. It looks like that's where we're moving in. Maybe we do questionable things with the pig. I don't know, but
Oh man, next level. Took it to the next level, Brad.
Yeah, that's it. Glad I was able to share that with you guys.
Special coupon code for everybody in the chat. We'll get to you at the end of the show.
And here we go. Brokeback vaults.
Hold on a second. Hello, Nat, don't get all worked up. All right. We probably won't go live. We're just, all right. Nat Turner's all freaked out about our new vault.
I love all these marketing words. Think of it as a vacation for your cards. That's it. Free range, organic, sustainable. But anyway, in terms of all the vaults, the only thing that I thought, because we have AJ from Japan, we have so many people from other countries, I'm always thinking like, how do companies and how does the hobby break through to other continents where they're seeing this stuff on YouTube? There's some interest. We talked to Chris last week. He's in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands. I always say Amsterdam because that's the only city I really think of. But the Netherlands, where he's like, no one really collects. I have to do YouTube to stay connected. And I'm like, yeah, but they love sports. There are people that would be interested if this was more feasible. And so how do we get that? And I'm thinking, hopefully the vault is just one step closer for internationals to be able to get involved in some capacity, maybe not as much as they would like, but at least one step closer. So, that's my thought there, but it's a bit interesting that we have so many announcements regarding vaults within a week's time.
Yeah, there was, during the grading panel that I caught part of, there was a question from the audience. They were passing the mic around, and someone said, I think the gentleman was from the UK, and he said, how do we get better access to grading? And I believe it was Kevin Linane, who's the president of PSA, said that we will be getting out there. We are going international. So I do think that, we're still early in grading as far as the whole world goes, and it's going to be going international in the future. I don't know that I remember when he said, but that is on the horizon and he mentioned Asia, UK, Canada, Australia, maybe a couple others.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to happen. And from Mint Collective, that's one of my takeaways was like Fanatics could do this. They have the resources, the vision, all that. But I want to transition to the company that you've co-founded, correct? You've co-founded a company. I remember discussions of this at the National, just being involved in some capacity with something new. And it looks like it's come together. So tell us about this new company and why you decided to found it or co-found it and how it benefits us, the collectors.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So the company's called TradeSafe, and basically the solution that we're trying to provide, or the problem that we're trying to provide a solution to, is when you are on any social media platform and you want to make a trade or you want to buy or sell a card with somebody and you don't know them. And we all know about the vouching system that seems to happen. But what we're now offering is a middleman system. It's really as simple as that. It's a middleman service where if you meet somebody remotely and you can't decide who's going to send the item first, or, let's say I'm going to buy a card from you, I don't know you, I want to send you my money, but I don't know that I'm going to get the card back, or that sort of thing. So what we've done is we've created a 3-hub system. We have 3 physical hubs. One's in Oregon, one's in New Hampshire, one's in Florida. And basically, again, you meet somebody, you don't need to trust them anymore. You don't need to get vouchers on them. If you want to do a deal, both sides send their cards into our hub. We receive the cards, we verify, we confirm, and then we will ship them out to each side. So now let's say Dustin, you sell a card to Brad, and you're not sure that, and Brad wants to send the money, but he's not sure that you're going to send him the card. So you send us the card, we receive the card, we say to Brad, okay, card received, send Dustin money. Dustin receives the money, Dustin sends us evidence that he's received the money, and then we'll send Brad the card. So it's basically just, as we like to say, you make the trade, we make it safe, is our tagline. And we're early beta. Like we wanted to get to market first, and with the concept and the idea. So we have a very bare bones sort of website right now, tradesafehub.com, and we're working on the next version. We were very fortunate because at Mint Collective, we're friends with the people at Card Ladder, and Card Ladder had a booth at the Mint Collective, but they didn't need the whole thing. So about two weeks before the event, they said, "Hey, do you guys want to set up at the Mint Collective right beside us?" And we were like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And then we were like, "Uh-oh, how do we have no marketing material?" So our team, our founder is a gentleman by the name of Steve Foley, great guy, great lifelong collector. Him and the rest of the team, we quickly designed banners. We had some really nice banners on the premises. We had some T-shirts. We created like a business card sort of thing, and we presented, and we had a lot of people coming up to us asking us what it was all about. We had great feedback from people being like, "Wow, the hobby really needs this. How did nobody think of this yet?" All sorts of things. Now, I mean, there are services out there that might be sort of like a ComC, for example. You send your card there, they list it, you sell it. Like, there's more steps involved. And we had a great chat actually with Tim Getch, the founder of ComC, at the end of the event at Mint, and he loves what we're doing. And he's like, "Yeah, you ever want to bounce ideas off me, happy to share, but keep it up, don't give up, and good luck to you guys." So yeah, we're really excited about it. Love the branding we have going on. I should have one of these cards right here. Unfortunately, I don't. My partners are probably watching right now going, "Why don't you have a card ready to show?" But I found one. Actually, we made it to look like a card, like a basketball card, like almost like a patch card. So the logo is actually really bright and vibrant. And then on the back, we've got sort of all of the bunch of details about the company and stuff. So yeah, we had a great show.
Well, so for me, like from a real estate background, it sounds kind of like an escrow company.
So exactly, Brad. But technically, it's not escrow, because escrow, I believe, is sort of the value of the service is pegged to the value of the asset. We are charging a flat fee of $10 per side. So each side pays $10. If it's a buy sell, it's only one $10 fee.
So hold on a second. So it's $10 per transaction per side.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means it could be a $500 card or a $50,000 card.
So we have insurance in place to cover your cards. We are called TradeSafe. So we have insurance in place up to $20,000 at this point in time. We're launching up to $20K and up to 20 cards going each way for that fee.
Awesome. Very cool. And that logo, I like the logo. It looks very sustainable and very organic, like what me and Dustin would have for our vault.
Well, here, I'm going to very quickly, let me just show you a better picture of the logo, if you don't mind. And just even for the audience, because I'm proud of the logo. I really like it. So there's that was our Mint Collective confirmed vendor thing. So,
Yeah.
you know, the logo is the shape of a shield to kind of signify that safety sort of thing. The 3 arrows to the middle signify our 3 hubs. You send them in there, and then we will ship out the cards to you. So yeah, that's TradeSafe.
Awesome, man. Well, congrats on starting that. And I mean, look, I love how all these businesses are sprouting up because the need to fill some sort of hole or some sort of problem in the hobby is there. And not every business is going to make it. You know, like Dustin, you had a video earlier this week about Star Stock pivoting. It looks like they're getting out of cards, or they're getting more into NFTs. And, you know, as the market changes, the hobby changes, we're going to see which businesses survive, which ones grow, which ones dwindle, which ones get bought out or merge. And I think that's just the excitement of it, but they're all coming from a place of there's a need to be met. And it's always exciting when we see these companies come out, and Mint Collective was there. You know, that was the perfect place to see all that. I'm actually launching a community in the next week to week and a half for something that I believe the hobby could benefit from as well, which I'm excited to share probably in a week's time. But it's all coming from, hey, where are we at right now and what can make it better? So we wish you the best, and definitely, guys, check out TradeSafe. And is Instagram the best place for people to like check out for now?
Yeah. It's TradeSafe Hub. We couldn't get TradeSafe. Someone, I guess, locked that up a while ago. So our website is tradesafehub.com, and there you go. Our Instagram is TradeSafe Hub. And I just want to mention one more thing. You know, we were set up. We're very new. You know, we're early beta. We're saying, because we are very new. But we had people come up to him saying, "Love the idea. Are you looking for investors?" Like, that blew our minds that was happening. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I really want to encourage other entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs in the hobby. You know, you don't know if you're going to come up with something unless you give it a go. And I would encourage people to, you know, the hobby is growing. Whether if Fanatics does what they say they're going to do and help grow the hobby tenfold. Now, I know that's a big target, but if they even come close to that, there's a room for a lot of companies and services in the hobby. And so if you have an idea, you know, maybe try and execute on it, because ideas are worthless without the execution. And our team, specifically our founder, Steve Foley, has done a great job, but our whole team has, you know, we've got partners at each of the hubs, and then we round out the rest of our team. So, you know, go for it, find partners, and really try to do something. I want to see more and more of it, because it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it helps the hobby.
For sure. And real quick, you say it's new. However, I believe you have more followers on your Instagram account than Dustin. So, I mean, congrats on that. And Dustin's been working daily at it for the last 2.5 years or so.
90% of my 2,000 I bought. So that's where we're at.
and then tomorrow you'll have 2,000 more and be like, boom.
Actually, no. I'm like all embarrassed. And all of a sudden tomorrow I've got 200,000 followers. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know.
And I got to say, there are some people that follow me or DM me on Instagram, and it'll be like 83,000 followers, but 2 comments on their last post. And I'm like, come on now. So always look out for that. Doesn't matter who you are. You're not fooling anyone if that's what you're doing in 2022. We all know what real engagement is. So just a little word to you. Thanks to Troy as well for the super chat. We really appreciate that. What else we got? We got the Golden and Drake break.
Yep.
You want to talk about that next, or what do you got, Dustin? You haven't spoken in a long time.
No, I was going to say, well, that was kind of next on the list to hit on. So it's been going around, like, what does it mean for the hobby and all of that? But where were you, Jeremy, when this is kind of a where were you, you know, when this happened? You know, I was in the airport trying to save battery on my phone. So I was trying to like be plugged in. My son also was on like 8%. And I was like, dang it, I got to watch some of this at least. And also every single content creator in sports cards was like, commenting, like, say something clever, think of something clever and comment. You know, it was really kind of funny. But Where were you when you were like, oh, wow, this is happening? And did you find it organically, or was someone like, hey, check this out?
I find most things either through a couple of like group chats on IG or through talk on Clubhouse. So whenever Drake is breaking, I seem to find out within five to 15 minutes sort of thing. And yeah, the first time when he was on was at LaFave breaks, and then I think he went on with somebody else. I don't remember who. Then he was on with Ken Golden the other night in person. I think Ken flew to Canada to do it with Drake.
And I remember LaFlave. I remember watching that and thinking, like, man, that's cool. But the next step is that he's actually on camera doing it. That's kind of the next step. And then he was. And then he was. It's like they heard. And Ken was like, good idea.
The next step is it's Drake's Instagram, not via Ken Golden's Instagram. So now you have 106 million people going, what the hell is all this? But what 2% say, hey, this is kind of cool. But anyway, so what's your take? Because we've never seen this level, like this, someone that is so relevant in 2022 with this much reach, which is still way bigger reach than Logan Paul, at least on Instagram. But these massive stars, and then Logan Paul actually joined the stream where I was like, holy crap, this is the population, this could be the population of half of the US if it were their stations, with the ability to see it. But what's your take as a collector that's been in the hobby for so long, that someone this mainstream, this influential is doing this?
About time. What took so long? Cards are cool, right? Like, I mean, really, what's my take? I think it's good. I don't think it can be a bad thing. I mean, it's more eyeballs on the hobby. If Drake is a collector, he's got influence. I'm sure other people will discover it because of him, and some of them might come in for a fad, and some of them might come in and stay in it, right? So I don't know. I don't see anything negative about it. If anything, it'll grow the hobby anywhere from a very little bit to a lot, and why not? Drake can do whatever he wants. If Drake wants to open up cases of Flawless and boxes of 86 Flair basketball, Drake can open up cases of Flawless and boxes of 86 Flair basketball. Like, who are we to judge him or tell him not to? So, I mean, yeah, I welcome it. I don't have anything bad to say about it, and I think it's hey, listen, I've been loving cards for 40 years. So when someone kind of new discovers it or rediscovers it, it just sort of validates the rest of us who have loved these things for so long and realize that, hey, we're not nerds anymore. We're just normal people who have this hobby that we share, and it gives us commonality with each other. And let's face it, we just saw it at the Mint Collective. People come from all over the place. We come from all different walks of lives. We gather on these events, whether it's the National, the Dallas Show, the Expo, the Mint Collective, and we make more friends. And we just, I don't know, it's great. It's great. It can't be bad.
Did you go ahead, Brad?
Well, I was going to say, Dustin, do you have like a strong opinion on this, or do you see, because I have a very deep rabbit hole I can go down in terms of the Drake break versus Gary V. Like I can go down a hypothetical, and I might as well just say it versus let you talk. So let's just get that going. All right. So here's the thing. There was a really good comment on my recent video regarding this where ELEE712 says it could drive out the true hobbyist if the high-end cards get much higher. So basically, because Drake is breaking really high-end product, chasing very high-end cards, the way I see it, that it could go down is athletes, other rappers, and then other people that follow Drake and know that he's doing this start to see, hey, what is this? Paying all this money to open cards to see if you have the good one. This is a thing. It's kind of like when I got reintroduced to the hobby via Gary V. I knew of cards when I was a kid. I did not know it was the world that it is now. And so I think Drake can open that door to a lot of people that know of cards, have heard about it from Gary V, that used to collect, used to do something, and now they're seeing, holy crap, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of high stake gambling, there's a cool factor, and then these rappers, these athletes, whoever else could say, hey, I want to do something like this, let's do this together. So for one, if the high-end stuff gets higher, the question is, would a true collector be turned off by the hobby if they can't get the good stuff anymore. And we're already seeing the high-end cards go so far.
I would argue though, I mean, and I understand if you go back years that, like Flawless, going back years or National Treasures, it would be like, oh, well, boxes they used to be $500 and now they're $5,000 a box or whatever it is. But it was still not, it's not as if, teenagers were able to easily get that stuff anyway. It's like when I was, 1990, when I was a kid, there was stuff out of my price range. There was plenty of stuff out of my price range. So I always hear that argument of like, oh, well, everything's going to get more expensive. I also think Fanatics is fully aware of the fact that they need to have entry-level pricing products. They're fully aware of that. I just don't see I don't see how they're going to mess that part up. I do think that there's going to be, options for people just as, now, yeah, maybe maybe you can't get National Treasures. Maybe you can't get Flawless, but that's life in part. But then you also have options for singles. Like then they go out in the singles market. Drake is he's going through all this stuff and he wants one card. He's in it. He's looking for one or two particular cards. So all those singles hit the marketplace and then you can get the single that you want.
So Jermey, like as someone that could get a lot of these cards in the past, would you say other collectors that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years be really turned off by the hobby if they could no longer get those logo mans or the RPAs or whatever, because that is like through the roof, and now they're stuck with Prism Silver or this middle tier range of cards because now it's been priced so high? Do you think like that's?
I mean, we're comparing, millionaires to billionaires sort of thing. Like, if that's a big difference there. I know, I recognize, but
millionaires, what peasants?
Like I couldn't afford a logo man at any time. So now because Drake's in, am I upset that I really can't afford it? No, there's so many cards out there to buy. I'm not worried about that. We taught you mentioned in your viewer that wrote in said that, are the high end cards going to be that out of reach? Well, they are out of reach. Like if you can't afford a LeBron at 1.8 million, are you that disappointed that it's now 4 or 5 million? Like, no, you couldn't afford a 1.8. So that ship sailed like 18 months ago in the hobby sort of thing. So that doesn't concern me at all. With with Drake breaking Flawless, looking for that one card, as soon as he hits it, the Flawless cases are going to go down in value. So that'll be a good thing. He's actually speeding up the path to cheaper wax potentially, because he's the one, once he's out of the market, and if he hits that triple logo man and he stops opening up Flawless, well, now what? What happens to the rest of the Flawless? Everyone knows Drake's target card is gone. I think it comes down in value. I'm not sure, but I think those remaining cases come down in value because Drake isn't pushing up or pushing the demand for himself. So,
the other argument too is if you're a collector and you had the opportunity, you've been in for a while and you were there 5 years ago. Let's just use a Michael Jordan rookie card, a PSA 8 or a 9. That was an 8 was a $3,000 card 3 years ago. $2,500 card. Maybe now it's a $10,000 card. You had the shot to get it at $2,500 and you didn't take it. And now you're upset and like, oh, it's out of my reach now at 10,000. Well, it was out of your reach at 2,500. You didn't buy it then. So it's like, there's nothing to complain about really.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. That to me is the furthest concern I have from this. And maybe it's a legitimate concern. It's not, I don't see that having an impact. I mean, I don't think Drake is going to, I agree with Mark. Like, I don't think he's moving it that much. If he brings in a few hundred or thousand new collectors, that's going to have a very minor impact on the index of the hobby. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't see it having that impact.
So here's my take on it. All right. Actually multiple angles. Not everyone, a lot of people gave Gary Vee a hard time when he was talking about sports cards and all these people came in. And when I think of the people that follow Gary Vee, and I'm one of them, I like Gary Vee. I've gotten a lot of information, a lot of inspiration, practical stuff. His demographic, the people that follow him, I think of as 16 to 30-year-old hustlers, people looking to start businesses, have social media brands, all that kind of stuff. So you had a lot of people entering for the money-making side, the flipping angle. Now, if I look at Drake, I think of a couple things. I go, all right, first of all, that one panel that you were a participant in that you did a great job on, which was providing authentic content or creating content authentically to you. We had RPS, and they are a trio of Black men that make hobby music. And Javid Best, the former running back, was one of the members in there. And one of the questions was, how do we get this hobby to other demographics, women, kids, minorities? And I think of who is Gary Vee bringing in? I think, all right, well, younger, hustler, more motivated by the flipping side, which is totally fine. And I think of Drake, well, if he's not talking about the investing side, but he's doing high stake gambling, I'm thinking the athletes, the rappers, the other artists, the other people, maybe the breaking side gets a lot bigger, but also maybe it spreads to more of an African-American audience than what someone else could bring in, which I'm totally cool with as well. The other question or the other concern that I think, where's he at? A year ago, Lucky K, who paid for the boxes? Even if it was Drake, because I don't know who paid for it, even if it was Drake, if I was Josh Luber, I would be saying we need guys with, like Drake, these massive influencers who could really change the hobby if they're really dedicated to it, if they're really interested to be involved. How do we make them incentivized monetarily? And that's when I would be calling up Drake and his agent and saying, okay, how interested are you in this? Because we would rather pay for these boxes of Flawless and have you break and be a fixture in the hobby just because of what you could do in terms of bringing in other people, then you just chase the logo man and then go on with your day. So is there something there? We have a zero cool lineup of cards. We have our own brand. If you're in the hobby, maybe we could work out a Drake special set, kind of like Steve Aoki has his special products. There could be a lot of ways where Drake can be incentivized just to break cards and to be in the hobby long term without it costing him $1 million a week breaking. And once Fanatics actually takes over, they could be dishing product for free to Drake and these other big name guys just because they know what the exposure would bring back. So from a business side, I'm like, you need the big guys like Drake if you want to grow it the way that I believe Josh Luber and the others want to grow it. So just my take there.
Yeah, but you hope that it's more organic. You hope that he's spending the money because he wants that card, because he wants the card because he wants to brag to his buddies, like, I've got the triple logo, man, and you don't, type thing.
Sure. Well, you definitely hope it starts off organically. And then if it can't sustain itself off of drop $1 million every week or 2 weeks or month, or his agent says, hold on a second, why are we not monetizing this? Because he's bringing in $5 million a month of new people to the hobby. I would hope that there's some sort of, win-win scenario there where it's like, hey, I'll break for free every time. But I want my own Drake special zero cool line, and I want to be an investor in Fanatics, or I want to invest here. But obviously from the genuine interest at first. What's your take on that, Jeremy? You're a business guy.
Couple of things, I guess. First of all, and no offense to the commenter, but I don't know. I don't care who paid for the boxes that Drake opened. Like, it doesn't. That's of no interest to me. If he paid for them, great. If he didn't, I don't really care. That somebody else must have a big marketing budget for that. If Drake, you said, how can we bring him into the hobby more, where he's doing more and more and more, opening more products, being more of a collector, or how can we incentivize him to do that? I think if Drake wants to be in the hobby, he's going to do it as a collector. I don't think he's looking to be, not that this was the suggestion, but I don't think he's looking to be a breaker. I don't think he's looking to do this every night, until maybe he will, until he finds that triple logo man. But I think the guy is just on a bit of a tear right now in hunt of that one card. I don't think he's looking to, but listen, if he does become a full-time hobbyist, that's pretty cool too, because it means that he loves the hobby and he's found it and he loves it as much as we all do. And if that's the case, then maybe, he'll bring in tens and tens of thousands of people along with him for the ride. And then, he'll help Fanatics reach their goal of, growing the hobby by 10x. So I don't know. Listen, he's a guy having fun in our hobby, and I wish him well. I hope he finds his card.
I hope he doesn't, but keep searching for years and years. That's way better, actually.
Well, and then this all could backfire too, to where he's like, I spent $3 million on flawless cases and I never got that card. It was like pulled by someone and they're like, you know what? I'm putting this in my PC and I'm good. It never surfaces.
But see, then Dustin will have a whole new reaction video, whole line of reaction videos to make. So that'll work out for Dustin. Drake quits the hobby after dropping $3 million.
Hey, bad news, good news. It's all news.
And I'm here. Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see where this goes, just because, you know, Drake's one person, but it really is about what if there were 5 big people, mainstream people, not Gary Vee, who's semi-mainstream, but just really big name people, the Justin Biebers, the Drakes, the, you know, like the top actors, the top athletes that were interested. What would that actually do? I'd just be curious. But
well, very quickly, Mike Petty says, can't Drake just buy the card? Well, sure, but the card has to surface first. And I think he likes the gamble. I think I've heard he's a gambler. He likes the wax is gambling. He likes it. He doesn't want to just buy the card. So, you know, maybe if someone else pulls it, he'll have to, but that's the thing, right? He wants to, it seems like he's enjoying these nightly breaks.
I wonder what happened to get him in there. Like it just seemed like it happened, because I remember on the live stream, he said basically he got in over the last few weeks, you know, and I know he buys sports memorabilia and other things like that, but specifically this, like, I wonder what prompted that.
He mentioned that he's been doing business with Ken for quite some time.
Yeah.
So Ken maybe saw what was happening and reached out and said, hey, good old buddy Drake, pal, you want to do this in person? I'll fly up with some cases and we'll make a big deal about it. You know, instead of you going on these sort of, you know, lesser breaker type platforms. Nothing against these guys who've had him on, like, kudos to them. It's been great for their business. And I'm sure they had a blast. Like, who can tell their community of friends that Drake was in my Instagram chat buying flawless off me at 17K a box? Like, that's a pretty cool story to tell anybody. So congrats to those guys.
And remember, like here in LA, I mean, look, there's a lot of money in a lot of places, but I've heard crazy stories from the shops here of people going in and dropping 50K in one session on breaks, just because money's not an object, and that money could be gambled in so many different ways. They're just choosing to do it in this way. The difference is that this is a very visual way to involve others. So that's why it's very interesting when someone can spend an hour or two gambling via card breaks versus just putting that on the Super Bowl or some game where there's no real engagement or community or, you know, actual event behind it. So, I mean, whether it's Drake or others, you know, maybe the high-end breaking, maybe that will be something that takes off the most in the next 6 months or year. Who knows? But you know, we'll see for sure.
It's like the difference between, you know, you're in Vegas and you see a craps table with like 100 people standing around, they're chatting, they're cheering, they're partying, versus the poker room where everybody's very quiet, has their headphones on, and they're just looking at their cards and looking at their phones. Like, two totally different things, right? When he's breaking on these channels, he's got 6,000 people watching and people in the room just having a good time. So I hear what you're saying on that.
And also, I thought what was cool is that, you know, if you looked in the chat, this was what was interesting. If you look in the chat of the live stream, everyone was in there. Even Rip Hamilton from the Detroit Pistons, he was all in that chat. Everyone from the hobby, but also all these other people that when I clicked on it, it's like, oh, you're an artist and you're this. And I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of people that I'm for the first time seeing are interested in the hobby, because you would have to really you know, go on Instagram and see this, and then on Clubhouse and on TikTok. And I felt like everyone was drawn to that one event. But then when Logan Paul jumped on, all of a sudden 22,000 people were in the stream. And I actually noticed that Ken Golden gained about 12,000 followers in, I think, 8 hours or so, or like less than that based on that. So again, I'm thinking Ken Golden's show, maybe Drake's in on that show. Maybe there's some other really high profile people in on that show on Netflix where everyone can watch. And what if this is the #1 Netflix show when it drops? You know,
yeah. Do you have any insights on that, Jeremy? Has anyone talked to you about the Golden Touch as far as, you know, what to expect?
I won't say what or who, but I do know who will be the subject of the first sort of item on the thing and what that item will be. That was pretty cool. So it's coming. I don't know when though, but yeah, it is coming. But
thank you for the details.
Yeah, sorry. I can tell you it's not a sporting item. That's what I can tell you. But what was neat was that in the Drake Ken Golden thing, Drake basically said that the reason why he's doing cards right now is because of card porn. He said he came across card porn, probably ripping somebody a new one. He said something like that, and that's what brought him back. So card porn is what they are. They is what they is, however you say it. And but they're the ones who Drake gave complete credit to bringing him into the hobby. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take complete credit for the next superstar to come into the hobby. It's because of this video right here. So, guys, you're all a part of it.
I think it was Brennan that had a good comment going back up where he was like, save that guy. Yeah. Where he said it would be cool if you had a second person that was looking for that logo man and also try, because you would have kind of a duel. It'd be like Sammy Sosa McGuire battling it out, for this card. That would be really interesting, actually, and that could be the future if you have a lot of influencers that are involved. If Bieber and Drake are both trying to get the same card or whatever,
that would be cool.
Or again, I was thinking, hold on a second. Logan Paul was on the stream for 5 minutes. Drake's there. Pack battle, right? You could do a live pack battle with Drake versus Logan Paul. They would both get a lot of media for themselves. The boxes could be donated by Panini. It could be bought for by another company, whatever. But they just know that amount of people and two superstars going back and forth to see who will get the better card. At least a huge chunk of the hobby would watch, but the amount of other people that would at least be interested in what's going on. I mean, again, like I think it can go in so many different directions when you have someone with that level of influence, but also in a very fun to watch way, because no one wants to see them rip open Prism or Select or something low end. But when it's like, all right, stakes are high and everything can get drawn out, this pack is literally $10,000 to open and you're seeing if that massive card's there. That's who doesn't want to watch that?
Yeah.
Well, Ken Golden's going to work it. I mean, he's working it. I mean, I think that, it doesn't hurt that he's got Omaha Productions and Peyton Manning, and they're, I heard Peyton Manning on the panel, I think, on a replay saying that Ken Golden was made for TV. So he was happy with his performance as far as that show goes. So I think that's kind of cool.
For sure. Okay. Do we have anything else to talk about? 7:02. I'm looking through my notes here. There was a lot. Oh, I don't know if we want to touch on Star Stock. I know they're Dustin, why don't you fill us in with what you heard from them, and then we'll give our thoughts there. And I think we'll wrap it up after that.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of new information. They're just kind of pivoting a little bit more towards the NFT space. They're still doing graded cards, not taking any more raw submissions, but they had already announced that. But I think the big thing was they said they're coming out with an NFT product. And so I'm just kind of curious to kind of watch and see what that looks like. They're maneuvering. So hopefully, obviously NFT audience and card collecting audience, there is some crossover, but it is a different audience, so that'll be, just got to watch and see what they do with it.
Do you guys, I have nothing to say on the Star Stock thing, but do you want to see that? I picked up 2 cards of the Mint Collective. You want to see them?
No,
yeah, definitely.
I'm just kidding, of course. Bring them on.
All right. So this one I did at the end. I traded away. It was a cash trade deal, but this is from 2016. The Cup. I like my hockey. It's Connor McDavid, an auto patch out of 8.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice. So I traded away a McDavid Young Guns and a BGS 9.5 and a bit of money for this with my buddy Stefan from Colorado. Really cool. But here's the big takeaway for the weekend for me.
Oh,
yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
I was like, Prince looks weird.
What year is it? Is this 78?
It's 1978, Swedish. Sam Larsaker. I think it means collectible or something like that. Collecting or collectibles in Swedish. So pick this up on the first day of the show. I have an extensive, maybe 50 cards like this of rock and roll cards and Hollywood cards from the 50s through the 70s, and I didn't have a Jimi Hendrix yet. And Josh Luber heavily collects Jimi Hendrix. So when I got it, I put it on my Instagram, and I'm like, had to grab this card before Luber did because he probably would have grabbed it. And I got it for under $100, and was really happy to add it to the collection.
Now you have leverage on him. Now you have ultimate leverage.
Oh yeah.
Come on,
Did you get
Luber.
it
I
from,
got something on you, buddy.
Did you get that from Merlin, Jeremy?
No. This I do have the guy's card I bought it from, actually. Let's see.
Do you have a price? Can you mention the price point?
I paid $85. This is who I got it
that's
from. I'm Ojag Collectibles. His name is Dane.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, the upside of the hobby, musicians, artists, celebrities, that's what I'm waiting for, because I'm bigger fans of my favorite bands and favorite actors and movies than I am of 99% of athletes that only have like a 2-year run and then they get traded or suck or something else. And only 1% of 1% turn out to be Tom Brady, Drew Brees, for Dustin, not like Drew Brees is like,
yeah. I'm surprised you didn't say Drew Brees first, then Tom Brady.
I mean, maybe he'll be a great commentator, but
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is
I know
that
you're upset. Your coach just quit, so you're upset. I'll give you that.
Can I want to just, if you don't mind, if I address Brett S makes a comment about Luber's painted fingernails. So I've had Luber on my show a couple times, and I asked him once before we went live, I said, so why do you paint your nails? And his answer was like so perfect. He's like, well, I have a young daughter and she likes to paint my nails, so I let her. I'm like, all right, what a nice dad, good for you.
Actually,
buddy.
I kind of thought that was the case, because my daughter's done the same thing to me, like while I was asleep before. She was little, but when I saw that, I immediately thought, like, I wonder if that's like his kid or something that did that.
I like that alibi. I like that like story. It's like, but hold on a second, you don't have a daughter. Yeah, I do. Anyway, great stuff there. Jeremy, always a pleasure bringing you on. Anything you'd like to close with? Any final thoughts before we head out? And I got to say, I did not urinate. I'm very proud of myself, but that's a different subject.
No, I mean, thank you both for inviting me on the show. I'm big fans, and I love hanging out with you guys. It was great to see you in Vegas, both of you. And I guess that's about it. The hobby seems to be stronger than ever, and going to continue to focus on the positivity of the hobby and move forward. And yeah, he's right. Jackass is the next Zero Cool. They had those cards out on display. It's going to be a totally different price point than the V-Friend stuff. So, but I'm excited for the future of the hobby. But I kind of always am excited for the future of the hobby. So that should be no surprise. Thank you, Frank. Good to see you, buddy.
Awesome. Well, Jeremy, hold tight. I'm going to do my little outro video from MySlabs. Appreciate MySlabs and their sponsorship. And guys, we will see you next week.
The platform designed by collectors for collectors just got even better. MySlabs.com is proud to now feature dedicated sections for both raw cards and raw comic books. Browse over 100,000 slab collectibles, authenticated by the industry's most trusted grading companies. Then check out a massive selection of sealed wax and now raw singles and raw lots. Join a passionate, no-nonsense community of nearly 50,000 members and enjoy some of the best buyer and seller protection in the business. And as always, MySlabs offers one of the most disruptive pricing models in the hobby, with seller fees as low as only 1%. So the next time you're forced to pay 10%, 20%, or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com, the low-fee marketplace by collectors for collectors.